He doesn't have a problem with drugs, he just doesn't get them. He's fine that his mates have tattoos, but he thinks they'll regret them. He likes going to pubs, but he hates it when the music's too loud. He tends not to go to rock concerts, cause he can't stand the crowds. But all he's ever wanted to be is a rock star on Rage or MTV. But he knows that it's not fucking likely. He just turned 30. He knows that he will always be a rock and roll nerd. He'll keep writing songs the world will never hear, and though they won't be heard, he'll just keep writing. Oh yeah, but you see the problem is he always dreamt of being a star, but he learned piano instead of guitar, which in the 90s didn't get you very far. So while the other kids were learning Stairway, he was the piano to their forte. But he was convinced one day he'd rock their fucking asses, be an icon for the disenfranchised masses, grow his hair long and rebel against the state. But just for now that'd have to wait, cause he's running late for his morning classes, and he will always be a rock and roll nerd. He'll keep playing gigs that no one knows about, and though it sounds absurd, he'll just keep playing. Oh yeah, but you see the problem is there's not much depth in what he's singing. He's a victim of his upper middle class upbringing, so he can't write about the hood or bling bling. So he sits and imagines his girlfriend is dead, to try and evoke some angst in his middle class head. But the bitch is always fine at 9:30 when they go to bed, and he's not spent a single night in prison. He has no issues with nutrition. He has no drinking problem and no drug addiction, unless you count the drugs they put in chicken. And marijuana always tends to make him cough. He doesn't look good with his t-shirt off, and when he tries to act tough, you can tell he's tricking. Go out late, popping pills and having fun. He goes home and showers and gets a good 8 hours. He gets thrills from his morning run, and while his mates all go on dates, taking speed and drinking cans of Jim Beam, he stays home and cooks, curls up with a book with the girl he's had since he was 17. Cause he's never really been part of the scene. Give him Guns N' Roses, he'll take Queen. He's more into Beatles than the Stones. He's more Stevie Wonder than Ramones. And he's never owned a panel van. He never shot a Pantera fan. He doesn't know the difference between metal and thrash. He couldn't tell you nothing about Axl and Slash. He likes Ben Folds and the Jackson 5. He knows all the words to Staying Alive. And though he wants to be all grungy and cool, he spent 11 years at a private school. So it don't matter how he tries, he cannot hide behind his rock and roll lies. Cause you've either got it or you don't. Yeah, you'll either rock it or you won't. You've either got it or you don't. Rock it or you won't. You've either got it or you don't. He knows that his music lacks depth, but it just can't be helped. He has nothing interesting to say, so he writes about himself. But he doesn't want to seem self-obsessed, so he writes in third person. In an attempt to seem more rock and roll, but he suspects it's not working. And deep in his heart he knows that he'll never be Silverchair or Eskimo Joe. And even if he was quite pretty with small pants like Kylie, he knows that he will always be a rock and roll nerd. He'll keep writing songs the world don't care about. And though it sounds absurd, he'll just keep writing. Oh yeah, 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 you can criticize him, but he won't care, cause he wants to rock, and he will never be deterred. But he'll always be a fucked up little try-hard wannabe rock and roll nerd. Rock and roll nerd.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. How's everybody doing? Feeling good on a Wednesday? Sparkling thoughts. Give me the hope to go on. How's everybody doing? Shout out to Raycon, by the way, for sending me a pair of their everyday earbuds. Props. They're actually like very impressively good. Like I've actually took them to the gym. I was actually like, wow. Especially for the price point. Anyway, how's everybody doing? Sorry for the late start today. I normally like to be coy and like play around with it a little bit, like, what was I doing? But I legitimately can't talk about it. The NDA is pretty solid. So all I will say is that I wasn't just like sleeping in. Pretty much during the exact times we normally are streaming, there was a private access event for an upcoming game, so I had to take care of that. So it was fun. It was fun. We had a good time. I even got to play and talk with somebody who I kind of grew up watching, like in high school. I'd watch videos with this person, like a veteran of Rooster Teeth and like, I don't know if IGN, but like one of the Rooster Teeth veterans. It was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. We had a really good time, and that's all I'm going to say about that, okay? Because I can't say anything more or I'll get in trouble. But I don't know. Look forward to next week, I think is all I can say. As for Wolong, I know some people have been asking about Wolong. We are getting a review code for that allegedly in the next probably hour or two. So my expectation is today we'll stream for a little bit. We'll hang out, we'll chat, we'll cover up a couple of little things. I want to show you how I sort of soft locked Hogwarts Legacy a little bit. So in case you run into this, you know how to fix it. So we'll talk about that and we'll touch on that. And there probably will be a point in this stream where I say, oop, gotta go. And when I say that, it's just because that code came in. I won't be able to confirm that's why, but you'll probably know when I'm like, oh, I need to go do a thing. It's because we're doing that. It's a little unfortunate that the review codes are going out so late. That worries me, but who knows? Maybe it'll be awesome. This is for Wolong, Fallen Kingdom, so we'll see. That's Fantastic Man, although the fear of meeting your heroes. I don't know, it's kind of weird though. It's weird when you are like also a YouTuber or streamer and then you meet another YouTuber, streamer, internet personality, because like you're now kind of not on their level, but like you get it and they get it, you know? It's oh, god damn. I just got an email. Just shit. I'm not gonna end the stream now. Okay, I'm not gonna end the stream now, but we'll keep going for a little bit, and then we'll. Sorry, it's just freaking funny. I'm like, yeah, probably in an hour or two, I'll call it. I get the email. Anyway, I'll still cover this. We'll touch on some things, but whatever. What's with the skull? Are you in a death cult? Sort of. If you didn't know, yeah, being a member of the Luke Stevens stream That's what happens. That's the end game. Okay. Eventually, we'll just have a wall. This is what happens to the moderators who don't time people out quick enough. Okay. That's where they end up. Thank you for the $1.99. Also, somebody else came in and donated, didn't they? Like before the stream even started, I think. Oh, it was Ocular Candy. Toss $2. Won't be able to catch the stream. Much love. Well, Ocular Candy, if you're watching this afterwards in the VOD, thank you, my friend. That was very generous. Steffi, thank you for the 1 month. I hereby confirm that this is a cult. See, these people, they know. People know. I'm not one of those cult leaders that like keeps it secret. No. Thank you, Steffi, for the 1 month, for re-upping for a month. And yeah, tight. 3 months. Woo! 3 months ago, you popped my member cherry, and I have no regrets. I told you I would be gentle. I told you. Oh goodness. I'm glad you all are here. I'm glad you all are here. I thought about it last night. I got confirmation we were doing this thing today, so I was like, okay, I think I need to do this event because it's going to be cool. So I'll do that. Do I just take Wednesday off entirely from streaming? Do I just not stream anything? And I was like, no. I actually maybe this is weird and maybe I'll eventually snap out of this and I'll become like an old man who's really bitter, but I look forward to the streams. I really enjoy this. This is like the highlights of my week. To the point where I think back to 6 months or a year ago when we streamed once every 2 months or something. And I'm like, what did I do all week? What was my time spent doing? Because at least here we hang out, we chat, we can socialize. I really, really like it. I don't know why it took us so long, but I mean, it's like I told you guys before, I really struggle with establishing habits. So, it took a while to get hooked into this, but now we're here. You're the anti-DSP. I was trying to come up with some joke about so I only masturbate off stream, but I couldn't put it together. That's just it doesn't land. But there's something there. The pieces are there. We just have to bring it together. Luke, I have found a total of one game where RT is actually worth it. Control. Other than that, IMO, no game uses RT well enough to sacrifice that much performance. The one game, if you have the hardware to have playable frame rates and crank ray tracing, Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk with ray tracing, it looks pretty good because it's in the puddles, it's in the ambient lighting from the neon signs and stuff. It reflects off the glass on cars. It's really, really well implemented, I would say. That's probably what I would say is the other one. Yeah, we just started, Juan. We just started. Don't worry, you didn't miss anything. Hogwarts Legacy, yeah or nay? Probably nay. There's no reflection ray tracing, except for marble floors. So in Hogwarts, it looks okay, but honestly, all of my footage is cranked with ray tracing that we're gonna go through, and it looks good, but I don't know if it's worth it. Let's see. Man, I really barely care about ray tracing. What I'm curious on is what they're going to do after this. Because let's be real, ray tracing is kind of a marketing ploy from NVIDIA. Let's not beat around the bush. Just like their hair physics, whatever, was the marketing ploy before this. And then they had the smoke effects, which was the big push in the early 2010s. So I don't know what the next thing is. Honestly, I kind of hope it's some sort of improved physics capability on the cards, because I think one of the coolest things games could start doing a little bit more robustly is to have more destruction and destructible environments. I think that would be badass. One of my favorite franchises growing up were the Red Faction games. I don't know if you guys ever played those, but Red Faction back in the day, just blow up whatever buildings you want, hack them apart, they'll collapse. There's some cool stuff that can happen with that. And if you if they could find a way to run that a little bit more high quality and a little bit more efficiently, I think it could be awesome. Could frame generation be their new thing? Yeah, but like frame generation, it doesn't do anything new. It just kind of fills in the gaps and smooths it out. So, and it does a good job. Don't get me wrong. I love frame generation and it works really, really shockingly well. But, like, it's not like, you know, ray tracing where now you have reflections. It's not like an improved physics engine where now there's destructible environments. There's nothing like that that really makes it look better. It's just more frames. Yeah, so maybe it's a thing, but I don't think that works as a marketing ploy, if that makes sense, just because of that. I was surprised Wild Hearts released without DLSS. The game doesn't run well at all on PC. I thought I had like an AMD thing. Maybe, I don't know. But they, that game just in general, the PC port is terrible. It's just a train wreck. Absolute train wreck. I feel Battlefield has gone backwards with the things it can destroy. Oh yeah, I've never been like super into Battlefield, mainly because like they've kind of been moving backwards with it, like you said. You know, my understanding from people that really like Battlefield is that like Battlefield 4 was kind of a precipice in terms of tech and what they were pushing, and then like 1, 5, 2042, all of them just steadily started removing features, and it's just a bummer. I watched your video on Arkham Knight, and it's ridiculous how good it looks. Yeah, dude, 8 years old. 8 years old, and that game looks like that. It's ridiculous. No ray tracing, no crazy high-end hardware. That thing was built for the PS4 and Xbox One. And then it's honestly kind of depressing because you look at what they are doing with Suicide Squad, and I mean, it's rough. It's really rough. I mean, I haven't checked. Should we see what the like reviews or the ratings on that are? What was it? Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League 6 days ago. Yeah, man. 16,000 dislikes. I mean, this right here like perfectly exemplifies my opinion of the game right now. I'm more excited for the cutscenes than the game. And that just blows. It just blows. You know? Like, some games, I guess that's okay. I guess. But one of the critiques people had of, say, The Witcher 3 back in the day was that the game was like 80% cutscenes. And they're like, and then you get to the combat, and the combat's kind of rough. And, you know, at the time, people really were not that thrilled on it. But it's just, man, it's such a bummer. What was the perception when the trailer first dropped? Yeah, 60,000 likes to 786 dislikes. The perception immediately when the game was announced was extremely positive. Except you guys know that because I'm always right about everything. He said sarcastically. I'm not actually saying I get everything right. But Suicide Squad, I've said since the beginning, something was off. Something about this game just didn't come together. It didn't feel appropriate for Rocksteady. It didn't feel like a game that they should be working on with their skill sets. And now people are starting to see kind of what my gut was telling me. And it's confirming more clearly. But, you know, big bummer. Big bummer, dude. It could have been great. We could have had something. Imagine if Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League had the Nemesis system, and if you didn't kill a Justice League member, they'd hunt you down. Oh, the missed opportunities. There's so many things they could have done. But they just chose to actively pursue the most boring and lackluster genre and meta in the industry today. And it's like lackluster by 2017 standards. Like, this game already feels 5-6 years out of date in terms of its approach and design, and it's just a bummer. I have friends, like I mentioned, I have friends that I'm sure are going to be into it and will probably play it, but I think that this thing probably launches with like a 7 out of 10 Metacritic score, and most people are kind of like, which, yeah, that's just is what it is. Cross-gen? I don't think so. FAQ. Yeah, PS5, Series X and S, and PC. No back-gen. The biggest one that's like a major L is this right here. Internet connection is required to play the Suicide Squad game solo or online co-op. So even if you're solo with bots, you need an internet connection, which the only reason that happens is because they either are worried about like pirates, so they want to make it really difficult to use without buying it officially. Or, I mean, it could also be that they just want to constantly shove the in-game store at you with pop-ups for cosmetics, with like a rotating list of things on sale. Yeah, and I mean, I think it's probably both. Is that a sticker or a new bottle? Because it's just WoW. New bottle. I mean, this, yeah, these are just WoW stickers. I still have some of these, and if you've wanted stickers, Friday's stream, I think I'll have something interesting for you. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. But we've done a little something for people who are fans of the stream and the YouTube channel. Some inside jokes, some gags. I will say though, I only have 250 of each of the things we made. Once, I mean, we're going to ship them out from here. So Nikki and I are going to sit down at the kitchen table, pack everything up. So it'll be done by hand. It's very intimate, you know, what we're doing, but it's, yeah, hand stuff. Exactly. We didn't have time to make a hand stuff sticker, but we'll work on it. We'll workshop it. But yeah, we have 250 of these printed. And once those are gone, I mean, like, they're gone. Maybe we'll do another round. Maybe we'll print more, but I don't know. My guess is we do the 250 and then we're done. So it's going to be very special edition, very unique. So again, Friday on stream, we'll reveal those. We should be launching them because I believe I get them in tomorrow. So we'll get them in tomorrow, and then I'll shut them off on stream and release them into the public. So if you guys want them, you guys can get them before we announce it on like the main channel or anything like that. Should be pretty cool. Should be pretty cool. Anyway, Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I felt bad. I saw a comment of a dude who watched the video from Monday, and he was like, straight up, I think he just mispronounced Valhalla. Is this an inside joke? I don't. If it is, ignore this comment. I was like, oh, buddy, I'm sorry. Yeah, it is. Oops. Didn't hear that one. I bought Hogwarts Legacy this Monday, and I can with 100% confidence say that I wouldn't have played this if it wasn't set in the Harry Potter universe. That's what carried it. Yeah. No, and I mean, the whole thesis of the critique that I'm working on now, which, by the way, is a meaty boy. I mean, you can just, like, look at this outline I have. Like, we're still adding a couple things as we film it that we're cutting in here and we're splicing in. But, yeah, like, this is just the outline. It's ridiculous. Like, there's so much to talk about. But the thesis of the whole critique is just that it's a 7, 8 out of 10. It's a good game. It's not great, but if you're a Harry Potter fan, that adds 1-2 points onto it. So it's either like a 9 or a 10 for you if you're a Harry Potter fan, for most people. And I think that's probably where it lands for a lot of people. Like when I went and had dinner with some of my old college roommates, everybody, like I said, we all had been playing this game and we were just talking about it. And the general consensus is like, yeah, there's a ton of problems. Like there's a ton of weird things we've run into that we would change that are annoying, whatever else. But because it's in this universe that we like, we put up with it. Whereas if this was like from this team, but it was the, like, I don't know, the Frog Tales, and it's about a magical world ruled by mythological magical frogs. That actually sounds awesome. But if it were that, I think a lot of people probably would have walked away and wouldn't be playing it right now. I'm just going to be real. Camera way too close. An FOV slider would be awesome. I think an FOV slider would be awesome. And I'm sure there's already a mod for it. But I kind of get it. Like they're trying to just get this out. Honestly, it's impressive they've gotten this out while they still have a lot of versions still to put out. They still have to put out the PS4, the Xbox One, and the Switch versions, and PS4 Pro and Xbox One X versions. That's crazy. If Hogwarts was an Assassin's Creed game, do you feel like it would get harsher critiques? Yeah, I mean, I think it would be like torn apart a lot more. Or maybe, I mean, Hogwarts has dealt with its own fair share of sort of outrageous scandal for sure, where they've just, it's like, we really can't have anything nice. I mean, it's just, oh God. But you know, I think if it were Assassin's Creed, people would certainly tear it apart more, because honestly, the social thing right now that's cool, the sort of hip thing, is to be like a massive Ubisoft hater, and they kind of brought it on themselves. I'm not saying that doesn't make sense. I mean, I even do it a lot myself, but I try to do it from the perspective of a fan. Like, I'm not one of these guys that's like, oh yeah, Assassin's Creed sucks, and I've never played one. Like, I've played these games, I've spent a lot of time thinking about them, exploring these worlds and these games just in general. And that's what makes it suck even more, that the games just time and time again fail to do what they need to do. So, yeah, I think if this were an Assassin's Creed Legacy or something, then yeah, it would have problems. Anybody watch the Phil Spencer interview? I myself have not. I saw a bunch of people trying to make videos and content out of it. I thought it was broadly kind of a non-issue. I'll be real. Like, yeah, he said some stuff in a clunky way where he's like, yeah, we've not taken anything from Bethesda or ZeniMax away from PlayStation players. Everybody's like, oh, well, what about Redfall and what about Starfield? I'm like, yeah. But like, also the funny story, and probably the funniest thing I've heard related to all this console exclusivity stuff, is that when they announced that Xbox was buying ZeniMax and thus BGS and Starfield and all that, it also dropped that like the week leading up to that, Sony was in active contact and negotiations with BGS and Bethesda Softworks to negotiate an exclusive contract for Starfield on PlayStation. They were going to try to make PlayStation the only place you could play Starfield for the first like 6 months or the first year. Or they were going to do like an exclusive marketing deal like they've been doing with a ton of different games. Which is just hilarious to me. Like, again, can you imagine the phone call when Jim Ryan is like, oh yeah, we're going to get Starfield locked down. We're creaming Xbox this generation. They're not even trying. Yeah, Game Pass, what is that? Then he gets a phone call. Oh, hold on. Yellow, King of Gaming, how are you? Oh, that company we were going to do an exclusive deal with. Our competitor that I've not taken seriously is buying them outright. Ah. Well, mother. It's just, I'm sure he lost his mind, because why wouldn't he? Let's see. You think that they would want to make the most money and put it everywhere? Yeah, but it's also like a matter of balancing value propositions to your customers in the form of your exclusive access with like Game Pass, with your console offerings just in general. Sure, if they offered it on PlayStation, they would make $70 each copy for sure. But I think their goal is to not just make $70 off one copy of one game. Their goal is to get people to sign up for Game Pass, where they'll get $10 to $15 out of them every month. And after just, basically a year, they've made the equivalent of 2 full AAA purchases off of them without any extra trouble. And I wouldn't be surprised if they also come along and they start doing like a Call of Duty, if they get Activision Blizzard. I wouldn't be surprised if they start doing a Call of Duty pass or sub pass or something, where you don't have to pay the full $10 a month. If you only want access to Call of Duty, you can pay $5 a month or $10 a month or something, or $7 a month. And then you get access to all of that and exclusive skins and things. I think they'll probably do stuff like that. So yeah, by the way, everybody, like the stream. Thank you, Kimbus. Like the stream, or I'll I don't know. I play hardball, can you tell? Really do. Roughly how many variants of Merlin have you got ready for the critique then? I think 8 probably I have typed out now. I could probably get more. We'll see. It played well in the review. People thought that was funny, and I'm glad. Turn us into a skull. I thought of saying that, Pitch Black, because I looked at the screen and then the skull's right above me. But if I say, like the streamer, I'll turn you into one of those, it just sounds like I'm threatening to kill you. And I want you alive. Like, that doesn't help anybody. Yeah, like it or Luke cries himself to sleep tonight. I was going to do that anyways. The tears are very moisturizing. It's good for the skin. Something they don't tell you. Nobody tells you that. Anyway, why? Do you so stupid. I was like, why do you think sad people have such good skin? Like, I'm tired. Okay, shut up. Leave me alone. Let me do this. Let me go here. Okay, wrong button. After all that, I pressed the wrong button. I swear. Okay. Anyway. Let me do this. Yeah, like it or no stickers. That works. I like that. Okay. So, as I mentioned, I sort of soft locked myself in Hogwarts Legacy about maybe 30 hours in. I'm not exactly sure, but about probably 30 hours in. I reached this point where if I fast traveled to Hogwarts to continue a quest that I was doing, it would basically glitch out. And I could not select a quest. I couldn't do anything, and it caused all sorts of problems. So let me show you a little clip of what this looks like. So in this case, there aren't really any spoilers. Just don't pause the video and like read the text if you don't want any potential spoilers. But there shouldn't be anything. Just don't be stupid. But with this, like, all I'm supposed to do is I'm just supposed to talk to Sebastian. But it's glitching out, and I can't talk with him. Like, you can't do anything. You can't engage with it. Can't do anything. And the only prompt for the quest was to speak to Sebastian. It's weird. It's really, really weird. Don't worry. I'm gonna skip through the sections that might show stuff. So this is the main thing that I would get. I'd pull open the menu to change the quest. Because I was like, okay, maybe Sebastian's thing is glitching out. Okay, I don't know. And so I would pull out and I'd try to select a different quest somewhere in this list, right? But it would pop up with this: tracking unavailable. Tracking is currently unavailable. Complete or abandon your active quest. But like I said, there was no active quest. Like, I'd load into here, I would reload into an autosave. I was like, maybe it's just glitched out. And then I'd come in here and no quest is loaded. And if I try to load a new quest, I just kept getting that complete or abandon this quest to progress and select a new one. So I ran around for like 45 minutes freaking out. I was playing on my Steam Deck when I first discovered this. And then I discovered this continued when I was playing on my gaming PC. And I was like, this is not good. I still, at this point, I don't think I've reached the true ending yet. I was like level 31. True ending happens about level 34. So I was like, did I just get softlocked in my main save of this game? Am I not going to be able to make a video or a critique on this? What? Really, really weird. So, DeGrimley, I'm about to show you how I fixed it, and it's going to make you really mad because I bet you this is how you could fix it, okay? What I discovered after reloading, restarting the game, bouncing all over, still having this issue, still bugging out with it. I mean, you can see I just loaded into, I rebooted the whole game, and then I reloaded, and it just says tracking is currently unavailable. And I kept having this problem, and I would run around. I could not figure it out. I would change saves all over the place. What I eventually figured out was that, okay, it seems to happen whenever I fast travel around Hogwarts Castle. That seems to be the common thread with all of this. And what I found was, if I can go full screen again, what I found was that as I bounced around the castle, there still were no prompts. You could not start any missions, even if you spoke directly with people. And what I realized was, okay, that looks like what happens when you're in a quest. When you're like in a mini game, in a cutscene, in a section where it's like, complete this activity, go here and open that chest to continue the quest. So what I did is I just was dinking around. This is in a much larger clip, and this is after experimenting a lot to figure out what was wrong. I'm just running around in circles, basically. And I came over here, and you're going to see what happens. So I'm over here. I fly my broom. What? That's really weird. All I did was load in, hop on the broom, and fly it. What do you think is happening, okay? What do you think is happening? Because I'm going to explain it to you, and then you're going to be like, oh my God, no way. Okay? What do you think is happening? What's happening? Exactly, Zeres. Exactly. The game, when I would fast travel to Hogwarts, it would auto-initiate this Accio game. And so as I explored the castle, I was technically outside of the bounds of the game, but the game didn't know that. It thought I was basically standing on the platform. So it couldn't fail me for being outside of this realm. But when I rode the broom, I crossed into the threshold of the platform and then left the platform, in which case the quest failed. And at this point I'm like, what the heck? And I click try again to see what it thinks I'm doing, and it loads me back onto the platform, or back out here, and the same thing repeats itself again. But when I go over to the platform, same thing, I can hop on it. Equip your Accio spell pops up on the left. I can do that, but the game doesn't start. It doesn't know what it's doing. It just kind of freaks out a little bit. But the moment I hop off the platform, I'll get the same prompt that the quest failed. You see, it's just not loading. It's just glitched out. Like, I've got it equipped. That's Accio. I'll re-equip it. I'll equip it somewhere else. It's still doing it. Still nothing. And so I hop off the platform here in a second. Come on, Luke of the past. I'm like, are my eyes bad? Can I just not see it? What is happening? Come on. When I hop off, the same thing happens. It gives me a fail state just by crossing that threshold. So at this point, I abandon the quest. Dooba-dooba-doo. Gives me a little black screen. I think I have to hit escape, and then it comes back, if I recall correctly. It did this a handful of times. Whenever I would try to abandon a quest, it would kind of glitch out. And then once I basically said, screw it. Come on. Come on, come on, come on. Right here, back out. Go back, and then boom. And now you see on the mini map, the quest marker is there. I can get on the platform. She has the marker above her head. If I want to play the game with her, I can do that. But now I can equip quests and continue. So this whole thing, this whole soft lock that I ran into was because the game thought whenever I fast traveled to Hogwarts that I was beginning that Accio ball game And yet it didn't think that I was like outside of the realm. It thought I was basically just standing there on the platform doing nothing. And so after all this time, I was like, I don't know how long. I spent a lot of time messing around with this. And finally, I kind of accidentally figured out what was causing it. But I guarantee you that a lot of people spend a lot of time backtracking because they ran into this bug and they didn't know what to do or how to fix it. So if you run into this game in the future, or if you happen to have this happen to you, now at least you know. It's probably because it's trying to kick off the Accio game. Go to the outside courtyard of Hogwarts and then just, abandon the quest immediately and you'll be fine. So that's how I figured out how I basically soft locked the game. It sucks that this is still a bug. Hopefully they fix it very, very soon. Yeah, or never fast travel. But, especially towards the end of the game, I think a lot of people will start fast traveling a lot. I don't know if it'll end up in the critique, but I have a whole section written out about whether or not fast travel is a net positive in this game. Because I think there's an argument to be made that this game would be even better if they just got rid of the fast travel. Just like embrace the broom. Embrace the broom! Why not? Everybody needs a little broom in their hearts. Let the broom into your heart. One of the other crazy things. I guess, Jacob, this is where we'll cut it, okay, for the clip. We'll cut it here, and then we'll start a new clip here. Because this next thing is also a little crazy. So you guys know I really like stats and numbers in my critiques and stuff when I analyze games. Because I like to deal with, like, the hard facts of what we're dealing with. Like, I want to know if I'm going to say that the broom feels like it's faster to fly than the mounts. I want to know for a fact that that's true before I say it. Otherwise, like, oh, it feels like this. I feel like the combat's sluggish. I feel like the player becomes like extraordinarily and exponentially more powerful as we get towards the end of the game. But like me just explaining how I feel is a waste of time. Who cares how I feel? What one specific Redditor did, and let me pull up who this was so they can get all the credit in the world, because dear God almighty, they did the Lord's work with this. This will be in the critique too. You'll see some of this data mine stuff. But this guy right here, Blahable, I don't know. This guy went in and data mined all of the CSV files and data tables for all of the stats and all of the gameplay systems in Hogwarts Legacy. Went in there and figured out pretty much everything down to ranges. And again, this is not speculation. This is how the game calculates damage. This is how the game calculates your movement. This is full stop how the game works. Okay, so you can see Avada Kedavra has this broken down where it can deal 10 million? Yeah, 10 million damage. So theoretically, if you had an opponent that scaled to 10,000,001 HP, Avada Kedavra wouldn't kill them. That's kind of crazy. Cooldown for Avada Kedavra is 90 seconds by default. All this stuff. So there's a ton of really, really interesting tweaks in here. But in the full spreadsheet, which I was able to pull, you can see he even put in like a calculator. So you can put in your level. Let's say you're level 34 at the end of the main story. Here you can figure out and calculate what the average gear level is going to be. Player health. Notice how I said I felt like the player character becomes way too tanky towards the end of the game, like out of nowhere. Well, look at this. It's initially kind of linear, but then it starts to go exponentially up in the later levels. So you compare like the health stat at level 25, the player character has just under 1,200 health. By the time you reach level 35, you have 2,500. It's more than doubled with just 10 levels difference. So it makes a difference. And this is why it starts to feel like the later in the game you get, you just stop having any sort of challenge at all. And as for the mounts, if you felt like riding on the mounts was frustratingly slow compared to the broom, well, look at these stats. The broom, the rank 1 broom, before you upgrade it, travels at 1,806 and a quarter in-game unit speed, like per second or however it's calculated. But this is basically just a unit measurement for speed. The game is broken up into units in the game engine, and then this calculates the speed that you'll travel in units per second, basically. Mounts travel at 1,800. And then like each of these boosts, you can see the boosts affect these things a little bit differently. But all told, the mount is slower than the starting broom. Like, no wonder they feel so bad. Like, there really is not much reason to use them. By the time you get your fully upgraded broom, it's a good chunk faster. Not a crazy amount. I still wish that they had a faster broom. But still, what this tells me though, like, and this is something that we can kind of infer from the data. This is why I love looking at this stuff. What does this tell you? That rank 4 is the round number. Does this tell anybody anything? Does anyone want to speculate on what this could possibly mean? What this would tell me is that probably they selected 2125 as the top max speed for the broom because that was a technical or engine constraint. And then they worked backwards to figure out what the lower level brooms would be. Instead of starting with this speed because it just felt the best, because it just seemed like a good speed for exploration, they instead started here and then worked backwards. And I'll be real, by the time we reach level 4, I mean, my frustration with the brooms is that each of these upgrades, I will be real, I didn't really feel that much of a difference. I'm sure rank 1 to rank 4 you feel a difference. I kind of felt that because I went back and replayed the game, like the first 10 levels. I replayed with a Hufflepuff character to get to see the special house exclusive quest where you can go to Azkaban. But I mean, and I will say I felt a difference between my end game character at rank 4 broom to rank 1, but even still it didn't feel that significant. But this is really, really interesting. World region adjustments. So you can see this. This is for enemy levels. So Hogsmeade region, minimum level of 1, max level of 25. So everything around there is going to just totally suck. This might actually be armor, actually. I don't have details. But you can see South Coast. No, these are enemies. South Coast region, minimum level of 30. So it's going to feel like a hard difficulty gate. You can't go there early because the enemies are going to be really, really high level for you. And then the max is 40, and all of them max out at 40. Now, as for enemy immunities, NPC scaling, this is interesting. This is, again, a big data table on all of the important stats in the game. So health value, is it, I thought it was control. No. How do what is the hotkey for auto scaling all of the windows? I thought it was like control double click or control, maybe not. Because if I do this, then it automatically scales it. But I thought there was a way to do it for all of it. Do I have to select it all, maybe? That seemed to work. Okay, anyway. But with all of this stuff, I mean, you can see the data scaling with all of this. They calculated it out to level 100. But players are not going to get there, of course. Like, you reach a level cap before that. But what you see here, this is NPC scaling. And for NPC scaling, you can see that their damage scales a little bit higher and faster than their health. But specifically, it shifts right around level 24. So right around here is where it starts to grow a little bit separated. But before that, I mean, it's really quite minimal. Enemy defenses, this is interesting. You've got a bunch of different stats. Basically, this is how the game calculates difficulty. So if we look at, say, this, if enemies have damage taken multipliers and vulnerability multipliers for when they're in like weakened states. So for, let's say, trolls, vulnerability multiplier or damage multiplier, trolls get a 1.5 damage multiplier. So you deal out 1.5 times damage. Whereas on easy, you deal out 1.25. On medium, you deal out a flat level. And then on hard, you deal out half the damage. So you can see these are the tables that they use to calculate and to basically balance the game for you, the player. So when you're playing the game, you're like, this troll feels like it should be harder, like a lot harder. They could, in a patch, what they would normally be doing is that they would go in here and they would tweak these numbers. And then from these CSV tables, things would shift and change. Broom of Gates, gear costs, potion materials, all normal, potion duration. Player scaling, this is particularly stupid. This is one that kind of frustrates me, but I kind of get it because, like, we'll get to it. But anyway, players have an offensive and a defensive multiplier or power score or power level, I think is what they officially call it. And with this, you can see it's very linear up until about power level 250. And then after that, it starts to exponentially grow, which is weird to me because, like, it seemed initially like it was just on a scale, like they put in the formula and it calculated out these numbers, but they went in and specifically calibrated this to work in this way where it's linear and then exponential and then linear again. It's really strange, and I don't know why they did it that way. Damage reduction versus power level. So again, this is the damage reduction on your power level. It's linear until you reach power level like 360 maybe, and then it starts to increase at a significant rate. But again, this is power level. It's going to be tough to get up to this point, and very, very few players will. And then damage multiplier and the power level, I mean, it's a linear relationship, as you can see there. Talents, all that's pretty standard. Spells, this is the data for that, so you can figure out what exactly this looks like. Pretty straightforward. Traits, excuse me, how all of this works with the different ranks, so you can see how these work. The herbology increases all damage of plants by 25%. Rank 1 is 25, 2 is 50, and 3 is 75. For this, they're pretty good at about showing you the stats in this, so it's not that big of a deal, but you can see how it all breaks down. It's just really, really fascinating to see all of this data broken down, and it can confirm for you some of your suspicions or the things that you just kind of have a gut feeling about, right? Like, you'll just have a feeling, like the mounts, why use it when the broom feels faster? Maybe it's not, but it feels way faster. And then you can look at this stuff and see the data and just be like, oh yeah, no, it's the starter broom is faster than the mount. And you get the mount like probably halfway through the game, maybe a third of the way through the game. I don't know how much time you're spending doing other stuff before that, but your first mount you can get after a good amount of gameplay time. You probably are on the second or maybe even third broom upgrade. In which case, like, there's no reason to use the mounts at all. So, yeah, the mounts are there to be cool. I agree. I wish that there was something cool you could do where you, like, maybe could summon it to help you in combat. That would be cool. Imagine if there was, like, a plant that you grew that, say, hippogriffs love, and you toss it onto an enemy and it clings onto the enemy with like spikes or tendrils or something, and then the hippogriff comes in, swoops down, grabs the guy, and just carries him off. There's all sorts of stuff you could do to tie these systems together to make mounts more interesting, more dynamic and useful in gameplay. It's kind of a bummer that it's kind of a bummer that all of this stuff like works in this way, but you know, it's a first try. I mean, a sequel can take a lot of this stuff and just add layers of complexity to it. So, let's see. The upgraded dodge was too powerful, easy fights. I would agree. It's quite powerful. It also, I mean, it's not really a surprise, but the unforgivable curses are straight up broken. It's not even close. It's like pretty bad. But it's also like I can't blame them. Like they're unforgivable for a reason, and they are extremely powerful for a reason. So, like it's just not even close to the same. The game is cute. There's so many things that can be implemented in this game. Well, yeah, they left a lot of things that they could crank up in a sequel. My question for the sequel is not whether or not they have more gameplay room to play with, because I think they clearly do. My question is whether or not they will be able to make a world that's really interesting to explore again, because we've already got Hogwarts. We've got the surrounding lands. So the only way you can really make it interesting for a sequel is if you have, say, a new enemy come into the school grounds and take it over and change it. Which you could do. You could come in there and like, oh, a bad guy came in and then his men came in and cleared out all the villages, and you know, so that makes things harder. Then you can go to Diagon Alley and places like that. I think there's ways you could shake it up in that way to make it more interesting, but it's tough to make a sequel to a game that needs to have the same setting. Yeah, other schools you could probably do, the Ministry of Magic. My fear is that Hogwarts is such an integral part of the Harry Potter universe that I think taking it away from Hogwarts, it's kind of like cutting a major character, because Hogwarts is sort of its own character. And I think that's why the Fantastic Beast films don't really feel like Harry Potter, Hogwarts franchise films. They just feel different. It feels off. To me, at least. So, I don't know. They could do a jump in time. That's true, Cowboy. A lot of people that cover Hogwarts Legacy exclusively, or extensively, I should say, have been saying that the choice to give the character the role of a fifth year seems very deliberate, because it seems to set it up for a trilogy. And maybe they'll do that. I don't know. But it's interesting. There's a lot of wiggle room, and there's a lot of ceiling room to play. Frogwarts forever. You're damn right. Frogwarts forever. Turtle Jones. Hey, Luke, just caught up to the stream and noticed earlier you were talking about destruction in games. Have you played Rainbow Six Siege? It's probably the only game of its kind. I have, and people were very mean to me because I'm a noob. So there's a lot of people who really love Rainbow and have been playing for a long time, and they do not take too kindly to new players, I have learned. But who knows? Maybe I'll pop in, try it again. But they could do the Triwizard Cup. Yeah. They didn't, I don't think in the entire game they said specifically what year it was. And I think that was intentional. I think they're leaving that window open. So, yeah, there's plenty of stuff they could do. You better believe they've got tons of ideas. I mean, again, we sit here, we talk about the games, we play the games. This is their 9 to 5. Like they are doing this day in, day out. This is all they're talking about, all they think about during the day. And they're paid to, and they're trained to. So if anybody can come up with like some unique ways of shifting it and bouncing it around, then like they can do it. But we'll see. I mean, you know, I'd probably give it 4 years and we'll probably see the next one. Warner Brothers executives have said that they are looking forward to Hogwarts Legacy becoming a staple franchise, or a long-term franchise, I think is the exact phrasing they used. So, do wizarding cities exist in Harry Potter, like an industrial setting in a big city, or Victorian London, or all wizards hidden? It's pretty much, I mean, it's hidden. There's groups like, you know, Diagon Alley and places like that. There's places where the wizards in the magical realm kind of hang out and centralize, but you know, it's wizards kind of living alongside muggles, but trying to keep it more private. So it'll be interesting. Game modding is already in full swing. Yeah, I've seen some of the stuff people have done, and it's already kind of crazy. I love the game, but you can definitely tell that this is a foundational game, so much that you can do, but it only scratches the surface. Depth in all areas is needed in the sequel. Yeah, and they laid the foundation, and I think I touch on this in the critique, but I feel like this game very much was trying to be a junk food game, and it was trying to be the game that people wanted as kids. And so, like, I don't think that they were trying to make a really intense RPG. So I feel weird, like, critiquing it and being like, oh, it sucks because there's no real consequence to using Avada Kedavra or things. Like, even in front of professors, you can use Avada Kedavra and they won't say a word. Whereas, like, they should. They really should. But I think it's because, like, they knew that this, for a lot of people, was going to be their sandbox. It was going to be their just plaything to just go around this world and have fun. And I'm okay with that. I'm really not opposed to it. So, I mean, we'll see. Maybe in the next sequel, or in the next game, in the sequel, maybe they'll do something where, like, if you use Avada Kedavra in front of teachers, it's an instant fail. Like, you, just like hopping off that platform I showed you, it's just quest failed. You used an unforgivable curse in front of a teacher, and then boom, done, restart. Something like that. Or if you use it in the bad ending that you get or something in the next game, then your character gets sent to Azkaban. And you can just do it where it's like, yeah, you got sent to Azkaban, but it's also not a, like, it's not the canonical ending, so it's not that big of a deal. Like, yeah, you went to Azkaban, you got the bad ending because you killed someone. But, like, I just inhaled my throat. That was, Jesus. Just, I sound like a dying cat. You have to serve a 10-year prison in Azkaban. Well, they thought about Azkaban sentences, but that gets into spoilers. I won't say anything about that. I saw some game files where it had notoriety and things like that. I guess they wanted to implement some system to not let you abuse the unforgivables. That's interesting. I do think that there's a handful of seemingly cut elements. I think that they probably at some point had a curfew system. That just makes sense to me. Because there's, like, they have the teachers roaming the halls in the Alohomora quest line. So that seems to suggest to me there probably was a curfew system at some point. I think they probably had more robust, like, a day-night cycle, I think, was more useful and more heavily implemented. More robust classes. I think they probably gave a lot more wiggle room and a lot more screen time to teachers, and that probably got cut and shrunk down. Quidditch, I'm convinced, was in the game at some point. I think that they probably cut it pretty early on, but I think Quidditch was probably a cut. A morality system just in general, I agree. Like, or morality, notoriety, whatever you might want to call it. So I would agree. Yeah, use an unforgivable spell. Yeah. Avada Kedavra! Attention. Or detention. Okay. After doing the Broom trials, I'm not sure how they could have done Quidditch with how that feels. I mean, I'll be real, the Broom trials, races things, I'm kind of bummed there aren't more of them, because I had a good time with the races. I never had to do any of them more than once. They were all quite easy. So I would have liked them to build out more races and more, like, tracks, if you could call them that, more routes, things like that. I think they just left out stuff that had been done in previous games, maybe, like Quidditch and the Whomping Willow. Yeah, well, and I mean, it's just, basically when you're designing these games, you're just creating a list of all the stuff you want to do. And then, again, you have to build the prototype before you even really start building the world. Like, they have to know what this game is going to be like years before they can actually play it and go through it and try it. So they have to decide extremely early, can we do Quidditch? If we do Quidditch, we need to have the gameplay programmers on it for 2-3 months, and then, you know, we'll have the art team go in there, and then we probably need to have customizable stuff for that. Then we have to have the quest designers come up with ways to have different Quidditch matches. And so they're looking at it and they're like, this is taking up a huge amount of time and budget. Would we rather do that, or would we rather shift focus over here and put in, like, I don't know, add another 5 hours of gameplay, add in all of the Merlin puzzles. Maybe the Merlin puzzles are what they traded that for, which honestly, I think the Merlin puzzles, even though I find them a little annoying and pretty repetitive, I think the Merlin puzzles were probably a good trade. So yeah, the Whomping Willow wasn't in because it wasn't planted until Lupin was at school. Yeah. I mean, I'll be real. I had a brain fart when I was playing the game at first. I flew around the castle. I was like, did they forget the Whomping Willow? And then I was like, wait, let me check the timeline. And I looked it up and I was like, oh, okay. No, they're just paying more attention than I am. Okay, that's it. The Morbin puzzles are fine because you don't have to do them all. That's true, Steffi. And I think that's why you have to bring up the comparison of the Murden puzzles to Korok seeds, because Korok seeds in Breath of the Wild, there's like 900 of them. They're freaking everywhere. And they are everywhere because you're only supposed to, out of that 900, you're only supposed to probably get like 250 of them over the course of your run through. Maybe less, probably less over the course of your run with Breath of the Wild. So you're only supposed to cast a wide net and get a good amount to upgrade your stuff and then move on. My problem with the Merton puzzles is that there's a lot of them. They're extremely repetitive. They're also on the mini map, which I don't like. I think they don't. I don't think they should be, because when they're on the map, it's kind of passively suggested that the player is supposed to finish them. If they want to like platinum the game, they have to finish them all, which people are going to do. And also, probably the biggest problem is that the inventory starts way too small. So you'll end up going through and doing all of the Martin puzzles because you just want desperately to fix that low inventory. And even now, like on my save that has like 45 something hours of gameplay or 50 hours of gameplay or whatever it is, I still am regularly running out of inventory capacity. Like where I just have to go, oh my God, okay, fine. And I have to fly over. I'll go to Hogsmeade or something. I'll sell everything and then move on. It's honestly kind of frustrating. Yeah, the Martin, Merlin, Morden puzzles. Yeah. My favorite are the Morbin puzzles. It's always Morbin time. Always. Even the max is not that much. Yeah, no, for real. The thing is, whenever something's in a game, it was very consciously put there. It's usually not because like we have an inventory system because the player, like we can't keep track of the clothing that the player has in their inventory if it's more than 20 times, like, or 20 items. That's usually not it. Usually they put limits in the inventory because they want you to do something. In this case, like, ask yourself a simple question. Why did they put the discoverable gear in the game in the way that they did, where you have to go back to the room of requirement and reveal what that gear piece is? Why would they do that? Because that was a conscious choice. They chose to put that in there. They didn't have to, but they chose to put in a system where you get equipment while exploring and you have to fast travel or travel by broom, if you're a masochist, all the way back to the room of requirement to reveal it. I think it's because they realized players, a lot of them, would probably not be going back to the room of requirement. Exactly, Noah. I think that they realized, hey, we've got the room of requirement. It's kind of cool. But a lot of players are just going to kind of tune it out if they don't have to constantly go back there. So we're going to make sure that the legendary and the really good equipment they get, that they're going to want to figure out if they can use, we're going to make sure that that forces them back to the room of requirement. So they reveal it and then like, oh, I can go and I can also upgrade it too. And I can put in the traits as well, which I still would insist. I don't think many people, if you polled every player, I don't think a ton of people are using the traits and the gear upgrades. Because frankly, the gear, you get so much of it so quickly and so frequently that I don't think a lot of people feel the need to go and upgrade their equipment because it's like immediately outdated. So yeah, and that's the other piece to Grimly. I totally agree. Like if you put in a set of traits that's like pretty good, your character is just like more broken than it already was. And the game's already kind of easy. Even on hard, it's still kind of easy, especially once you get a loadout that kind of works. You got your spell wheel and you start at like right trigger, up on D-pad. You run through those spells and then you move right trigger, left on D-pad to that wheel. And then you use all of those spells, right trigger, down on D-pad. Go through all of those spells while meanwhile you're parrying and you're dodging and all this. And then you go back up, right trigger, up on D-pad, go to that wheel. And then the cycle just repeats. And honestly, like once you hit that rhythm and that groove, the combat becomes very, very easy. And I don't think that that's necessarily a bad thing. Like, oh no, they made a combat system that is like easy to understand and master. Like, I don't think the combat is necessarily easy. I think it's just once you get the hook, like the hang of it, then it breaks. Like once you understand it, it's rough. Haven't played it yet. Should I start on hard? Honestly, I would probably recommend it. Maybe start on normal, and the moment you start to feel the combat get easy, swap it to hard. Because like I said in these data mine files, the problem is that NPC scaling maybe. The problem is that you'll reach a point where your health starts to exponentially go up, so you'll stop taking significant damage from them, except for like one or two enemies, which randomly can like one-shot you. It's really weird. Or, you know, same with your gear setup. It starts to get kind of crazy. The player stats, you see this damage reduction percentage. It also just starts to really take off exponentially. So I think that you probably are well off starting on normal, and then the moment you start to feel like you're in this range maybe, or you're in this range where it starts to get to the point where you're like, I'm feeling like I can kind of get through all of these encounters without breaking a sweat, then crank the difficulty, and I think that you'll be better off. Once you get the parry down, it's fairly easy, especially once you unlock that talent that makes it so it like the perfect parry gives the little like concussive blast thing. That gets pretty busted. Ever since I passed like level 36, I don't even have to consider enemy weaknesses. I'm just one-shotting people with my damage spells. Yeah. Well, and it's because of like the damage multiplier stuff that you're having here. And again, if you're paying any attention to your loadout or your traits and things like that, it just starts to fall apart. And it's conflicting because on the one hand, like, yeah, you're a wizard and you're good at what you do and you've gotten powerful. So it feels good to be just super powerful. That's great. But it's also frustrating because you want there to be some challenge, especially in the end game when you are like grinding through all this stuff that's kind of tedious. You'd like there to be a little pushback, a little engagement, you know? I have the power. Yeah. Thank God it's not very hard like all games try to be. I would agree it's not a hard game. I think there are a lot of people that prefer it would like be a little harder. I would appreciate like a new game plus or a very hard difficulty setting that makes it more difficult. Frankly, I would prefer that because then I have a reason to mess with the gear and the traits and stuff to try and equalize and bring the playing field level again. But right now, like it feels like if I do that, I'll just break the game even more. Yeah, they need a mode where every enemy is your level or higher. Well, yeah, like Assassin's Creed Valhalla. They put in a mode similar to this, or similar to that, where I think you can scale it so everybody's like 40 levels higher than you, like a good amount. And so no matter where you are in the map, even the starting area, all of the enemies scale to like 40 levels higher than where you're at. And honestly, I think something like that would be a pretty easy fix and would be badass. Like just make a very hard difficulty where by default all enemies are scaled to 5 levels higher than you. Easy. Done. That'll be a challenge. That'll add some pep in your step. Around difficulty, I think they had to consider a wider age range that would be playing. Well, exactly, Danielle. And I think that it goes back to what I was saying. This game is meant to be like the fun, lighthearted sandbox. It's not meant to be the try-hard, intense RPG. Neither in the narrative sense or in the gameplay sense. And so I think they knew that this was going to be played by people of all walks of life, gamers and non-gamers. So they wanted to make a game that treated all of them. My hope is that with a sequel, they can kind of crank it up a notch, or maybe they can come in and offer difficulty options that are more that cater better to the average player. Everyone is speculating a Quidditch DLC is coming. Oh, I'm sure. As far as I know, there's no evidence of a Quidditch DLC. It's all people just saying it. I would welcome it. I think it would be easy money. And I've said that for like a year at this point. It would just be like an easy $30. Like they could probably sell it for $30 and people would pay it, honestly. So I think that they should just do that and walk it all the way to the bank, but we'll see. Saint Wordna, thank you. Welcome to the membership. Luke, how come the later stream today? Basically, I was invited to a closed private event for an upcoming game this morning, so I had to do that. And as a result, it like was in the middle of our stream time, like from right after we start the stream to all the way through when we normally end it. So I had to do that instead. So we're doing this one a little late, and so yeah. But and I just got this email because I've been saying that we're going to review Wolong Fallen Kingdom, and I'm going to try to play through it. We just got the email I was waiting for. So I'm going to probably go tackle that because I have no freaking idea how long that game is. I'm guessing it's going to be a little long, though. So I'm kind of prepping to have a couple of all-nighters. Got my Red Bulls. I'm ready to go. Yeah, the Final Fantasy 16 gameplay looks awesome. Just in general, that game looks really, really good. Game studios will start to beg for Luke. Beg for me. Beg for me. I don't know. But then again, some studios are like, what? Oh, no, you're so far away. We can't hear you. Oh, no. Oh, no. Same with like the Hogwarts Legacy review. You know, me and my management team, we were all trying to get a hold of Warner Brothers guys. I got a hold of the contact info for the two like head people of marketing and distribution and influencer relations and all that. And we emailed them a half dozen times and they didn't respond once. So my guess is I probably landed on the list, which is really, really funny to me. But I also I get it because my whole thing was trying to talk people down from the hype. My whole thing was that the collector's edition looked like actual ass because it did. And, so I'm sure at some point one of the execs was like, screw that guy. Don't send him a code. I don't blame him. Like, who cares? Oh, yeah, Domino's. Domino's, thank you for that. Yeah, we hit 20K subs on this live channel. How crazy is that? I think we hit 10K in the end of December. We could have a silver play button by the end of the year. How crazy would that be? We'd have two of these things. One for the main, one for this one. That would be crazy. Can you imagine? Oh, didn't you get the collector's edition of Hogwarts Legacy? No. I would not have paid $300 for that. I love spending money on useless things. I have a freaking resin skull and a gigantic 1/200th scale Lego Titanic. I clearly like spending money on stupid stuff. And even for me, that collector's edition was a horrible value. So no, I was never going to buy it. Sure wasn't. Steve, love this time for streaming. Can watch after work. Maybe this is what we'll do. Maybe what I'll start doing is Wednesdays will be our late day stream. Maybe we'll do that. And instead of streaming in the morning, we'll do We'll do like Mondays and Fridays in the mornings, and then we'll do this day a little bit later. That could work. I'm fine. It's not like we don't have as many people in here, but it's also kind of chill, you know. We've been up for a while. Everybody's kind of relaxing after work. Feeling good. There's so much effort put into that collector's edition. I mean, the cardboard box did look super cool. It's like I say, whenever a collector's edition lists the cardboard box that it comes in as part of the collector's edition, it's probably not a great sign. I'm just going to be real. Probably not a great sign. I've got the Infinity Gauntlet Lego. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. I would get more. I've got the Hogwarts Castle. I got this. I got the Pyramid of Giza. But I don't have room. So I think I'm going to have to wait until we move to get another big set, which is okay. I mean, because they have this one. They just released the Lord of the Rings big set. They have the Eiffel Tower as well, but neither of those really called to me. So we'll see what they release next year. The Millennium Falcon, that or the Death Star would be cool. But I don't have room. What I'd like eventually is to have, you know, a big streaming studio room that's probably like 3 or 4 times this room. So like this wall back another 10, 20 feet. And then this wall back another 5 to 10 feet, and just a big open space. We can line the whole room with stands kind of like this and have the different Lego sets on it and collectibles. I think that would be badass. And we can have like a couch on this wall right here, and then the big screen on this wall. So we can just get up from the desk and then go sit down and play a console game on a couch, and then the cameras automatically swap. We have a separate microphone over there. I think it'd be badass. It'd be great. Phil, Luke, stream all you want for the next few weeks. Can't do much until my broken toe mends. By the way, I learned some new foreign language yesterday when the pinky toe snapped. I'm sure. Dude, pinky, like toe crap hurts so bad. I once had a piano fall on my foot while we were moving. We were pushing it up the ramp into the moving truck, but the person that set up the ramp didn't lock the support leg. So the whole ramp collapsed and my foot was on it. So like right there. And no, this is not a foot stream. We're not doing that. I'm wearing socks. It's okay, YouTube. Don't ban me. But like the whole thing fell right on like my pinky toe right there. And that thing, that hurt. I was probably like 14 at the time, I think. They like, I went to the doctor. They tried to x-ray it to see how many bones were broken. And they were just like, they were just like, we can't even see it. It was so swollen that like the x-ray didn't scan through it. It was crazy. Lol clipped. Oh, great. That's going to be a new like emote on the Discord. By the way, follow our Discord. Do !Discord in chat and you'll get a link to our Discord and you can join us. But is that going to be a new emote of me just like holding up my foot? What are you going to do? Literally twisted to the right. Oh, dude. Oh. I can't even. I don't even want to think about that. Nightbot's like, I got you guys. I got you. Here's the link. Oh yeah, where would the stripper pole go? That is a very good question. That is a very, very good question. I don't we'll find space. Don't worry, we'll find space. Yeah, it's still literally a better setup than XQC. Yeah, but I mean, again, like we've been saying, part of XQC's success might be that his stream is so unintimidating. Maybe it's so approachable. It seems like he's just some dude, even though you come to find out he's worth like, you know, $50-60 million. Maybe we've joked about it, and I've actually thought about it. I was like, should we just start streaming in horrible quality? Is that what we should do? Like, I should just one day start streaming and I just have like horrible, it's like super out of focus or it's like super blown out. Hey guys, welcome to the stream. My name is XQC 2.0 and I'm I'm excited. We're going to be playing a little bit of Overwatch, and I'm going to be reacting to a reaction from a more successful streamer, and we will upload that as original content, because that's what we do now on YouTube. Welcome. No, actually, his would be more like this. Hold on. Hey guys, what's up? My name is XQC. I'm gonna oh my god, what? Dude. Oh my god. Dude. XQC, I love you. You're just like an actual alien to me. So it's easy for me to like, I don't know, dehumanize you, because to me you seem like an alien. I think that's most of it. Yeah. Everyone get your eye test book. Is that a chicken? Oh my god. Oh my god, is that a carrot? Dude, but like that's part of what's so fun about XQC is that you watch his streams and you're just like, this is a real human being. It's like going to the zoo. I love it. Oh god. Oh man. Dude. Yeah. It's funny. Lockie, my 1-year-old Lockie, he talks like that. If you say, hey, say dude, hey dude, he'll go, hey dude. Like he talks like XQC. It's amazing. I was like, have you been watching his stream? You betraying me? You're watching XQC stream? What the heck, dude? What, dude? What? Yeah. Oh yeah, not accurate. The mic quality isn't raping me. I think I saw one clip where he had like an audio effect turned on and forgot about it. So he's just like talking in the stream for a while, and it's just like super screwed up. It's just like he has reverb and echo and everything, and the gender's pitched, like just the whole thing. It's just like if I came onto the stream and I talked on stream for like 10 minutes, just like this. Hey dude, what's up, dude? But like for like 10 minutes. It was actually quite funny. I'm going to be real. It was quite funny. Because it's just like... Oh, man. XQC does give off that car accident vibe. You don't like to see it happen, but you can't look away. Yeah. He's so funny. He's so funny. But he shouldn't be funny. But that almost makes it more funny. You know? I don't know. You know? I don't know. Doesn't make any sense. What are you talking about, Luke? Anyway. Now do Valhalla and Echo. I don't actually know if that applies. If it applies it to sound clips. I guess we'll find out.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
No, it doesn't. Oops. My favorite XQC clip is when he's chatting to someone in the game and he's talking so fast and in his thick accent that the guy cuts him off and is like, dude, I have no idea what the fuck you just said. Hold on, can we find out? Maybe we close out on that because that sounds hilarious. XQC. I have no idea what you're saying. Maybe something like that. I don't think this is it. Oh, hold on. Sorry, Witcher music. Sorry. I don't know if this is it.
Ah, sick. Okay, this game was actually ahead of its time though. Like legitimately. Look how good this looks.
Okay.
Oh, it's remastered? Oh my god, don't tell us it's remastered.
Oh, he's looking at the remastered version.
Okay, it's still pretty good.
Okay, that's funny. That's funny. This game is so ahead of its time. So ahead of its time. He's looking at the remastered version. That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny.
Powered entirely by a rubber band and can fly for over 30.
Dude, I don't like stopping videos. I feel bad about it. But the shell on turtles, do they spawn with it in the dialogue?
Do they spawn with it? Dude, he is such a gamer. He's talking about birth like it's a spawning event. Love that. It's this one. Hold on. Okay, let me pull it up. Do they spawn with that? Do they spawn with that shell? I'll ask Nikki. I'll be like, so do babies spawn with a belly button? Is that how that works? Okay, share with gaming PC, boop. Open a new tab. Okay, let's see.
Yeah, I'm happy for that, but I seen some of these documentaries. I ain't believe none of that. Hey, the game government ain't no getting no one in the mass sample, no give my 3D.
I have no idea what the fuck you're saying right now. I'm sorry. It's just what the fuck are you saying right now?
Yeah,
I think I can decipher. He's saying something about documentaries and like I think he's joking about like not being a conspiracy theorist or something, but like it's kind of tough to figure out what the hell he's saying, man. That's
yeah, I'm happy for that, but I seen some of these documentaries. I ain't believe none of that.
hold on. I want to see what the YouTube auto transcription says.
I'm happy for that, but I seen some of these documentaries. I ain't believe none of that. Hey, the game government ain't no getting no one in the mass sample, no give my 3D.
I have no idea.
What's crazier is like that he's like really trying to communicate something. It's not like he's trying to talk gibberish. Like he's trying to say something. I just have no freaking clue what he's trying to say. It's some higher form language. Again, so like if the aliens came down to this planet and graced us with their presence, they probably would sound something like that, you know? Something like that. Oh man. Watch his Jam the Man clip. Jam the Man XQC. Jam a Man of Fortune XQC. Is that what it is?
Chat.
Okay, we'll wrap up with this one.
Jam a man of fortune, and Jay must seek my fortune. Henry Avery's, 1994.
Wow. Dude, Jam a Man of Fortune.
Chat. Jam a man of fortune, and Jay must seek my fortune.
Jay must
Henry
seek my
Avery's, 1994.
1994. He messed up literally every part. Wow. Jay must seek my fortune. Henry Avery's 1994.
Chat. Jam a man of fortune, and Jay must seek my fortune. Henry Avery's, 1994.
Oh, wow. Nikki's going to be like, what the hell is happening? Oh, wow. Okay, I've decided he's a national treasure. Okay, we need to protect this man at all costs. Wow. Jam a Man of Fortune. And the fact that he, like, okay, the eye looked kind of like a J. I'll give him that. But then he wraps it up with 1994 in what is clearly a 6. I've heard of dyslexia where it swaps like the position of words and letters. I've heard of that. I haven't heard of like mirrored vision where you just see numbers upside down. It's quite amazing. Like it's honestly shocking. It's amazing. I need some jam, my man, for fortune. Yeah, for real, dude. Wow. Yeah, he's hella funny unintentionally. For real, dude. What we've been wondering is if he's hamming it up a little bit. Like, he might be. He might be playing like some 4D chess. Or maybe he actually is just kind of ditzy and like that. You never know. You never know. Anyway, we'll wrap up there. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with me and chilling. I appreciate you. Again, a short stream, just a quick one. I wanted to hang out with you guys for a little bit. I'm going to go work on this review. Thanks for chilling. We'll be back on Friday with another video and stream and everything. So we're going to do that. Did you talk about the Elden Ring reveal? When we were on stream on Monday, when they dropped that. The DLC expansion, whatever, reveal. Yeah. So yeah, we tackled that. We'll probably post a clip. I don't know if we'll do a clip of it. I'm not sure what the schedule looks like, but anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for chilling. Thank you for 20,000 subs. You guys are great. Much love. I'll see you guys in the next one. Hugs and kisses. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Stay safe, everybody. Bye-bye. And yes, Lucas, I did work out 2 times since Monday. You don't have to tease me. Thank you for remembering. Thank you for remembering. Shout out to Lucas. Much love, everybody. Bye-bye.